Manny Pacquiao will lead the chamber in prayer.
Our gracious and loving Father, Creator of heaven and earth, in Jesus' name, we humbly come before your presence, Lord. We declare that apart from you, we are nothing. In the midst of all circumstances, we put our trust in you. We humbly pray that your peace and righteousness will reign over our country. We believe that your plans for us are to prosper us and not to harm us, plans to give us hope in the future. Your word says, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Lord, teach us to be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. As legislators, we desperately need your guidance. We humbly ask for wisdom in all our decisions. We recognize that when pride comes, then comes disgrace. But with humility comes wisdom. As salt and light of this world, we seek your will. We humbly ask for courage to do what is right. We desire to do nothing out of self-ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above ourselves. As we decide the best for our country and our people, enable us to serve with humility, integrity, and excellence. We praise you and we thank you. In the name of Jesus, our Lord and Savior, we pray, and everybody say, Amen.
Amen. Secretary, please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Fonteveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Soveri, Senate President Pimentel.
21. With 21 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, the journal of the Monday session is not ready, so I move that we defer the approval of the journal of the 9th session, August 14, 2017, to a later hour.
Is there an objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to acknowledge some guests in the gallery today. Guests of Senator Bob Aquino from the U.S. Embassy. We have Ms. Carla Jones, ACYLP Exchange Fellow, Ryan Madrid, Cultural Affairs Assistant, David Whiting, the Political Counselor of the U.S. Embassy, the guests of Senator Subiri, the officials of Land Bank of the Philippines with its President and CFO, Mr. Alex Buenaventura, and Board Member Virgilio Robes. And also we have the winners of 2017 Gawad Pitak with us this afternoon. Also, Vice Governor Karen Agapay of Laguna and the National Movement of Young Legislators, La Union Chapter, with their Chairman, Councilor Reginald Nang, Mayor Amelita Salcedo of Sara, Iloilo, Board Member Hineda Salcedo of the Iloilo Province, yes, the members of the National Legislators, 35 elected young officers. Also from the Chinese Embassy, Ms. He Xiangqi, Deputy Chief of Mission, Mr. Chen Qingji, Second Secretary, Mr. Lin Yongji, Second Secretary, guests of Senator Lagarda. Would like to welcome them to the Senate, Mr. President.
Welcome to all of our guests.
Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Messages from the House of Representatives. Letter from the Speaker of the House of Representatives informing the Senate, pursuant to Section 91 of Republic Act Number 9497 or the Civil Aviation Authority Act, that the following House members are designated as members of the Congressional Oversight Committee on the Civil Aviation Authority Act. Representatives Cesar B. Sarmiento, Carlo Lopez, Gavini Pancho, Edgar Mary Sarmiento, and Roger Mercado.
Referred to the Committee on Rules.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 31 May 2017, it ratified the Conference Committee report on the disagreeing provisions of House Bill number 5648 entitled An Act Rationalizing and Strengthening the Policy Regarding Driver's License, providing for a 5-year validity and penalizing acts in violation of its issuance and application, and Senate Bill number 1449 entitled An Act Extending the Validity Period of Driver's Licenses, amending for that purpose Section 23 of Republic Act number 4136 as amended by Batas Pambansa Bilang 398 and Executive Order number 1011, otherwise known as the Land Transportation and Traffic Code.
To the Archives.
Communications, letter from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas submitting to the Senate the report on the status of the Philippine financial system for the second semester of 2016 in compliance with Section 39C of Article 5 of Republic Act number 7653, the New Central Bank Act.
To the Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions, and Currencies.
Letter from the National Bureau of Investigation submitting to the Senate its quarterly report of accomplishments for the period of January to March 2017 in the use of confidential fund in compliance with Section 75 of Republic Act 10924.
Referred to the Committee on Finance and Justice and Human Rights.
Letter from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas submitting to the Senate its quarterly accomplishment report from January to March 2017 of the Currency Integrity Staff, Currency Issue and Integrity Office, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Quezon City.
Yes, to go sa lingua, sir.
To the Committees on Finance and Banks, Financial Institutions, and Currencies.
Letter from the Bureau of Immigration submitting to the Senate its quarterly accomplishment report on the utilization of confidential fund for the first quarter of calendar year 2017 in compliance with Section 75 of Fiscal Year 2017 General Appropriations Act.
To the Committees on Finance and Justice and Human Rights.
Letters from the Bureau of Customs submitting to the Senate its accomplishment reports on the utilization of confidential fund for first quarter of 2016 and 2017 in compliance with the provision of paragraph 5211 of COA DBM Joint Circular number 2015-01 dated 8 January 2015.
To the Committees on Finance and Ways and Means.
Letter from the Philippine National Police, PRO3, submitting to the Senate its accomplishment report on the utilization of the intelligence and confidential funds covering the period from January 1 to March 31, 2017, in compliance with Section 74 of Republic Act number 10924, otherwise known as the General Appropriations Act of 2017.
To the Committees on Finance and Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
Letter from the Department of Interior and Local Government submitting to the Senate its monthly accomplishment report for its utilization of confidential funds pursuant to the provisions of COA, DBM, DILG, GCGD in the Joint Circular number 2015-01 dated 8 January 2015.
To the Committees on Finance and Local Government.
Letter from the Department of Justice, Office of Cybercrime, submitting to the Senate its accomplishment report regarding the use of confidential funds for November and December 2016.
To the Committees on Finance and Justice and Human Rights.
Letter from the Philippine National Police, submitting to the Senate its quarterly accomplishment report for the first quarter of 2017 on confidential and intelligence activities of the PNP PRO 5 as required under General Appropriations Act 2017.
To the Committees on Finance and Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
Letter from the Philippine National Police furnishing the Senate its accomplishment reports for the first quarter of 2017 on the utilization of the intelligence funds allotted to RID PRO 12 relative to the new DBM COA Joint Circular Number 2015-01 dated January 8, 2015.
To the Committees on Finance and Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
Letter from the National Security Council submitting to the Senate its accomplishment report on the use of intelligence funds for the fiscal year 2016 in compliance with Joint Circular Number 2015-01 dated January 8, 2015.
To the Committees on Finance and National Defense and Security.
Letter from the Department of Interior and Local Government submitting to the Senate its first quarter progress report on Performance Challenge Fund for calendar year 2017 in compliance with Republic Act 2924, otherwise known as the General Appropriations Act of 2017.
To the Committees on Finance and Local Government.
Letter from the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines submitting to the Senate its 2015 performance highlights in compliance with Section 15 of Republic Act Number 9511.
To the Committee on Public Services.
Letter from the Office of the President of the Philippines submitting to the Senate the certified copy of General Order Number 1 dated May 30, 2017 entitled Implementing Proclamation Number 216 dated 23 May 2017.
To the Archives.
Letter from the Office of the President of the Philippines submitting to the Senate the certified true copy of the letter of the President dated 18 July 2017 calling upon Congress to extend the proclamation of martial law and the suspension of the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus in the whole of Mindanao.
To the Archives.
Letters from the Office of the President of the Philippines transmitting to the Senate two original copies of the following Republic Acts, which were signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Republic Act Number 10-928 entitled An Act Extending the Validity of Philippine Passports, amending for the purpose Section 10 of Republic Act Number 8239, otherwise known as the Philippine Passport Act of 1996, and for other purposes. Republic Act Number 10929 entitled An Act Establishing the Free Internet Access Program in Public Places in the country and appropriating funds therefore. Republic Act Number 10930 entitled An Act Rationalizing and Strengthening the Policy Regarding Driver's License by Extending the Validity Period of Driver's Licenses and Penalizing Acts in violation of its issuance and application, amending for this purposes Section 23 of Republic Act Number 4136 as amended by Batas Pambansa Bilang 398 and Executive Order Number 1011, otherwise known as the Land Transportation and Traffic Code. Republic Act Number 10931 entitled An Act Promoting Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education by Providing for Free Tuition and Other School Fees in State Universities and Colleges, Local Universities and Colleges, and State-run Technical Vocational Institutions, establishing the Tertiary Education Subsidy and Student Loan Program, strengthening the Unified Student Financial Assistance System for tertiary education and appropriating funds therefore, and Republic Act Number 10932 entitled An Act Strengthening the Anti-Hospital Deposit Law by increasing the penalties for the refusal of hospitals and medical clinics to administer appropriate initial medical treatment and support in emergency or serious cases, amending for the purpose Batas Pambansa Bilang 702, otherwise known as an act prohibiting the demand of deposits or advance payments for the confinement or treatment of patients in hospitals and medical clinics in certain cases, as amended by Republic Act Number 8344 and for other purposes.
To the archives.
Committee reports. Committee report number 149 submitted jointly by the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture and Finance on House Bill number 4598, introduced by Representative Gonzales et al. Entitled An Act Establishing a National Technical Vocational High School in Barangay Nasisi, City of Ligao, Province of Albay, to be known as Ligao City National Technical Vocational High School, and appropriating funds, therefore recommending its approval without amendment, sponsored Senator Escudero.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 150 submitted jointly by the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture and Finance on House Bill number 5051, introduced by Representative Sandoval et al., entitled An Act Establishing a National Science and Mathematics High School in Barangay Hulong Dagat, City of Malabon, to be known as Malabon City National Science and Mathematics High School, and appropriating funds, therefore recommending its approval with amendments, sponsored Senator Escudero.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 151, submitted jointly by the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture and Finance on House Bill number 5183, introduced by Representative Kari et al., entitled An Act Establishing a National High School in Barangay Hampangan, Municipality of Hilongos, Province of Leyte, to be known as Hampangan National High School, and appropriating funds, therefore recommending its approval without amendment, sponsored Senator Escudero.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 152, submitted jointly by the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture and Finance on House Bill number 4524, introduced by Representative Tiangco et al., entitled An Act Converting the San Rafael National High School in the City of Navotas into a National Technical Vocational High School, to be known as San Rafael Technological and Vocational High School, and appropriating funds, therefore recommending its approval without amendment, Senator Escudero.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 153, submitted jointly by the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture and Finance on House Bill number 5052, introduced by Representative Kari et al., entitled An Act Establishing a National High School in Barangay Banahaw, City of Baybay, Province of Leyte, to be known as Banahaw National High School, and appropriating funds, therefore recommending its approval without amendment, Senator Escudero.
To the calendar for ordinary
Committee
business.
report number 154, jointly submitted by the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture and Finance on House Bill number 4599, introduced by Representative Yu et al., entitled An Act Establishing a National High School in the City of Pagadian, Province of Zamboanga del Sur, to be known as Pagadian City Science High School, and appropriating funds, therefore recommending its approval without amendment, Senator Escudero.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Additional reference of business, messages from the House of Representatives. Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 9 August 2017, it passed the following House bills, in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate. House Bill number 5811, entitled An Act Providing for a Magna Carta of the Poor.
Refer to the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare and Rural Development, Ways and Means, and Finance.
House Bill number 691 entitled An Act Simplifying the Procedure in the Disposition of Public Agricultural Lands, amending Section 24 of Commonwealth Act number 141, otherwise known as the Public Land Act.
Refer to the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources.
House Bill number 5750 entitled An Act Defining the Offenses of Discharge of Firearms and Indiscriminate Firing of Firearms and providing stiffer penalties, therefore amending for the purpose Article 254 of Act number 3815 as amended, otherwise known as the Revised Penal Code, and Republic Act number 10591, otherwise known as the Comprehensive Firearms Ammunitions Regulation Act.
Refer to the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
5792, an act institutionalizing the Balik Scientist Program and appropriating funds therefore.
Refer to the Committees on Science and Technology, Ways and Means, and Finance.
5818, an act regulating the practice of employers in posting notices of termination of employment of former employees in newspapers, social media, and other public information venues.
Refer to the Committee on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development.
5235, an act establishing a National Science High School in the city of Lawag, province of Ilocos Norte, to be known as Lawag City National Science High School and appropriating funds therefore. House Bill number 2506 entitled An Act Establishing a National High School in Barangay Paso de Blas, Valenzuela City, to be known as Paso de Blas National High School and appropriating funds therefore. 2507, an act establishing a national high school in Barangay Ugong, Valenzuela City, to be known as Justice Elicer R. de los Santos High School and appropriating funds therefore. 2508, an act establishing a national high school in Barangay Bagbagin, Valenzuela City, to be known as Bagbagin National High School and appropriating funds therefore. 3438, an act establishing an elementary school in Barangay Ugong, Valenzuela City, to be known as Antonio M. Serapio Elementary School and appropriating funds therefore. 5803, an act establishing a national high school in Barangay Manlilisid, Municipality of Javier, Province of Leyte, to be known as Manlilisid National High School and appropriating funds therefore. 5755, an act separating the Parañaque National High School, Don Bosco Extension in Barangay Don Bosco, Parañaque City, from the Parañaque National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Don Bosco National High School and appropriating funds therefore. 5757, an act separating the Parañaque National High School, San Antonio High School, annex in Barangay San Antonio, Parañaque City, from the Parañaque National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as San Antonio National High School, Parañaque, and appropriating funds therefore.
Refer to the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance.
5689, an act declaring August 2 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Butuan, province of Agusan del Norte, in commemoration of its Charter Day anniversary, to be known as Adlaw Hung Butuan.
Refer to the Committee on Local Government.
5793, an act declaring Kapangyan Falls in the municipality of Batarasa, province of Palawan, a tourist destination, providing for its development and appropriating funds therefore. 5794, an act declaring Gangub Cave in the municipality of Batarasa, province of Palawan, a tourist destination providing for its development and appropriating funds. Therefore, 5806, an act declaring the stretch of beaches that line the Albay west coast in the 3rd district of the province of Albay as tourist spots and appropriating funds therefore.
Refer to the Committees on Tourism and Finance.
3443, an act creating an additional branch of the regional trial court in the 1st judicial region to be stationed in the municipality of Asingan, province of Pangasinan. Further amending for the purpose Section 14, Paragraph A of Batas Pambansa Bilang 129, otherwise known as the Judiciary Reorganization Act of 1980 as amended, and appropriating funds therefore.
Refer to the Committee on Justice and Human Rights and Finance.
5747, an act declaring Pilis Falls in Barangay Palili, Municipality of Samal, Province of Bataan, an ecotourism site and appropriating funds therefore. 5748, an act declaring the Municipality of Jovillar in the Province of Albay an ecotourism zone and appropriating funds therefore.
Refer to the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, Tourism and Finance.
Bills on first reading. 1548, an act establishing the Science for Change program, Senator Lacson.
Refer to the Committees on Science and Technology and Finance.
1549, entitled An Act Redefining the Coverage and Extending the Mandatory Credit Allocation to Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, amending for the purpose certain provisions of Republic Act Number 6977 as amended, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Small Enterprises, and for other purposes, Senator Zubiri.
Refer to the Committees on Trade, Commerce and Entrepreneurship and Economic Affairs.
1550, an act declaring November 22 of every year as a special non-working holiday in the province of Sultan Kudarat. Senator Zubiri.
Refer to the Committees on Trade, Commerce and Entrepreneurship and Economic Affairs. Refer to the Committee on Rules. Senate Bill number 1550.
1550. Resolutions. 458. Resolution congratulating and commending Ana Miloto Welk, co-founder of Human Nature, for winning the Beauty Industry Woman of the Year award at the London Beauty Awards on April 4 to 6, 2017. Senator Paulo Benigno Bamakino IV.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
459. Resolution congratulating and commending the 2017 GAWAD sa pinakatanging kooperatiba, outstanding agriculture and non-agricultural based cooperatives honored by the Land Bank of the Philippines on 14 August 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines. Senator Zubiri.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
460. Resolution congratulating and commending Buena Vista Development Cooperative, agriculture based of Buena Vista, Guimaras and Sacred Heart Savings Cooperative, non-agriculture based of Galimoyod, Ilocos Sur, for being conferred the 2017 GAWAD sa pinakatanging kooperatiba, GAWAD Pitak Hall of Fame Award by the Land Bank of the Philippines during the GAWAD sa pinakatanging kooperatiba, GAWAD Pitak awarding ceremony on 14 August 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines. Senator Zubiri.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
461. Resolution congratulating and commending the nagkakaisang magsasaka agricultural primary Multipurpose Cooperative of Talavera, Nueva Ecija for being awarded the 2017 Ginintoang Gawad Pitak by the Land Bank of the Philippines during the Gawad sa Pinakatanging Kooperatiba awarding ceremony on 14 August 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City. Senator Saveri.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
462, resolution congratulating and commending Cesario L. Tabago of Moncada, Tarlac for being named the 2017 Ulirang Magsasaka by the Land Bank of the Philippines during the Gawad sa Pinakatanging Kooperatiba awarding ceremony on 14 August 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines. Senator Saveri.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
463, resolution directing the proper Senate committees to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the bird flu outbreak in Pampanga and promote biosecurity measures in poultry and game fowl farms. Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy Binay.
Refer to the Committee on Agriculture and Food. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, with the indulgence of our colleagues, yesterday we had to put off a number of bills and resolutions that have been waiting. So we will just like to give priority to them now, at least 4 or 5 of them, but this will be very quick, Mr. President. So with the permission of the Chamber, I move to resume consideration of the following House bills. House Bill 5176, House Bill 5211, House Bill 5175, and House Bill 5212.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, the parliamentary status of the measures is that we have already passed on second reading the first batch of these telcos and franchise bills yesterday. So may I now move to continue the period of individual amendments to the remaining 4 measures. Period of individual amendments, Mr. President. So
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. And for this purpose, the Chair would like to recognize Senator Paul.
yes, Senator Grace Poe, Mr. President, to sponsor or introduce the individual amendments. As we did yesterday, we will take up for the period of amendments one at a time, the House bills one at a time.
Senator Paul is recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The following are the individual amendments for House Bill number 5175, Beta Broadcasting Corporation. On page 1, line 8, after the word satellite, insert a comma and the word terrestrial. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 10, delete the word technological. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 2, lines 15 to 23, delete the sentences beginning with the and the entire paragraph ending with the word provision. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, reword lines 25 to 29 to read as follows. Free of charge, adequate public service time which is reasonable and sufficient to enable the government through the broadcasting stations or facilities of the grantee to reach the pertinent populations or portions thereof on important public issues and relay important public announcements and warnings as necessity, urgency, or law may require. Provide at all times sound and balanced programming, promote public participation, assist in the functions of public information and education, conform to the ethics of honest enterprise, promote audience sensibility and empowerment through, but not limited to, closed captioning, and insert a semicolon. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 3, after line 5, insert another paragraph to read as follows. Public service time referred herein shall be equivalent to 10% of the paid commercials or advertisements, which shall be allocated based on need to the executive, legislative, judiciary, constitutional commissions, and international humanitarian organizations duly recognized by statutes, provided that the NTC shall increase the public service time in case of emergency or calamity. The NTC shall issue rules and regulations for this purpose, the effectivity of which shall commence upon applicability with other similarly situated broadcast network franchise holders. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page before line 6, insert a new section to read as follows: compliance with labor standards. The grantee, its successors or assignees shall comply with the applicable labor standards under existing labor laws, rules and regulations, and such other issuance as may be promulgated by the Department of Labor and Employment, taking into consideration the nature and peculiarities of the broadcast industries. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 19, delete the word approval and replace it with effectivity. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, after line 28, insert a new section to read as follows: tax provisions. The grantee, its successors, or assignees shall continue to be subject to all applicable taxes, duties, fees, or charges, and other impositions under Republic Act Number 8424, otherwise known as the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, as amended Republic Act Number 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, as amended, and other applicable laws. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 4, line 26, delete lines 26 to 29. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 5, delete lines 1 to 13. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 14, delete the word that. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is
On
approved.
the same page, line 15, delete the word any and replace it with the phrase provided. Finally, that any. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 6, delete lines 12 to 16. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 17, delete the phrase except for taxes and customs duties, comma, and capitalize A in the word any. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Renumber all sections accordingly. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, we still have the following are the individual amendments for House Bill number 5176. I'm done with
5175.
House Bill 5175.
5175. I move to close the period of individual amendments on House Bill 5175, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill 5175.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. May we recognize the sponsor to continue with the individual amendments on 5176.
The sponsor is again recognized to sponsor the individual amendments for House Bill number 5176.
Mr. President, the following are the individual amendments for House Bill number 5176, Saraga Integrated and Management Corporation. On page 1, line 7, after the word stations, insert the phrase in the Philippines. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 8, after the word satellite, insert a comma and the word terrestrial. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 9, delete the word technology and replace it with the word technologies. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 10, delete the word technological. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 2, line 1, delete the phrase in the Philippines and install the comma. Insert the phrase and to install radio communication facilities for the grantee's private use in its broadcast services. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 16, after the first NTC word and the period, delete the succeeding sentences up to line 23. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, reword lines 25 to 29 to read as follows: free of charge, adequate public service time which is reasonable and sufficient to enable the government, through through the broadcasting stations or facilities of the grantee to reach the pertinent populations or portions thereof on important public issues and relay important public announcements and warnings as necessity, urgency, or law may require. Provide at all times sound and balanced programming, promote public participation, assist in the functions of public information and education, conform to the ethics and honest enterprise, promote audience sensibility and empowerment through but not limited to closed captioning, and insert a semicolon. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 3 after line 5, insert another paragraph to read as follows. Public service time referred herein shall be equivalent to 10% of the paid commercials or advertisements which shall be allocated based on need to the executive, legislative, judiciary, constitutional commissions, and international humanitarian organizations duly recognized by statutes, provided that the NTC shall increase the public service time in case of emergency or calamity. The NTC shall issue rules and regulations for this purpose, the effectivity of which shall commence upon applicability with other similarly situated broadcast network franchise holders. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, before line 6, insert a new section to read as follows. Compliance with labor standards, the grantee, its successors, or assignees shall comply with the applicable labor standards under existing labor laws, rules, regulations, and such other issuance as may be promulgated by the Department of Labor and Employment, taking into consideration the nature and peculiarities of the broadcast industry. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 19, delete the word approval and replace it with effectivity. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, after line 28, insert a new section to read as follows. Tax provisions. The grantee, its successors, or assignees shall continue to be subject to all applicable taxes, duties, fees, or charges, and other impositions under Republic Act 8424, otherwise known as the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, as amended Republic Act Number 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, as amended, and other applicable laws. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 4, line 6, after the word matter, insert the phrase from its stations. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is
On the
approved.
same page, reword line 7 to read as follows. Provided that the grantee, during any broadcast and or telecast, shall not allow to be aired the. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 8, after the word broadcast, insert the phrase and or telecast. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, delete lines 26 to 29. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 5, delete the entire section 14, penalty clause, found in lines 26 to 28 until page 6, line 2.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is
On
approved.
the same page, line 3, delete the phrase except for taxes and customs duties and capitalize A in the word any. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Renumber all sections accordingly.
Is
I
there
so
any
move.
objection? There being none, motion is approved.
you,
Majority
Mr.
Leader.
That's for 5176.
Move to close the period of amendments on House Bill 5176.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Move that the approve on second reading, House Bill 5176.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. May we ask the sponsor to continue with the third committee report?
Mr. President, there are just two more, but it's still redundant, the nature of our work. Mr. President, the following are the individual amendments for House Bill number 5211, Gateway UHF Television Broadcasting Incorporated, presently known as Gateway Television Broadcasting, Inc., and doing business under the name and style of Hope Channel Philippines. On page 2, line 6, after the word assignees and before the comma, insert the phrase under Republic Act number 7223. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 11, after the word satellite, insert a comma and the word terrestrial. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 12, delete the word including and replace the word or. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 15, Add an S to the word program, I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 16, after the word stations, insert a comma and the phrase "and to install radio communications facilities for the grantee's private use in its broadcast services." I
Is
so
there
move.
any objection? There being none, motion is
On
approved.
page 3, line 10, after the first NTC word and the period, delete the succeeding sentences up to line 20. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none,
On the
motion
same
is
page, reword the entire section 4, responsibility to the public, starting in line 21 until page 4, line 5, to read as follows. The grantee shall provide free of charge adequate public service time, which is reasonable and sufficient to enable the government through its broadcasting stations or facilities to reach the pertinent populations or portions thereof, important public issues, and relay important public announcements and warnings as necessity, urgency, or law may require, provide at all times sound and balanced programming, promote public transportation participation, assist in the functions of public information and education, conform to the ethics of honest enterprise, promote audience sensibility and empowerment through, but not limited to, closed captioning, and not use its station or facilities for the broadcasting of obscene or indecent language, speech, act, or scene, or for the dissemination of deliberately false information or willful misinterpretation to the detriment of the public interest, or to incite, encourage, or assist in subversive or treasonable acts. Public service time referred herein shall be equivalent to 10% of the paid commercials or advertisements, which shall be allocated based on need to the executive, legislative, judicial, constitutional commissions, and international humanitarian organizations duly recognized by statutes, provided that the NTC shall increase the public service time in case of emergency or calamity. The NTC shall issue rules and regulations for this purpose, the effectivity of which shall commence upon applicability with other similarly situated broadcast network franchise holders. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 4, after line 10, insert a new section which shall read as follows. Compliance with labor standards. The grantee, successors, or assignee shall comply with the applicable labor standards under existing labor laws, rules, and regulations, and such other issuances as may be promulgated by the Department of Labor and Employment, DOLE, taking into consideration the nature and peculiarities of the broadcast industry. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 6, after line 13, insert a new section which shall read as follows. Tax provisions. The grantee, successors, or assignee shall continue to be subject to all applicable taxes, duties, fees, or charges, and other impositions under Republic Act No. 8424, otherwise known as the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, as amended, Republic Act number 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, as amended, and other applicable laws. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 8, from lines 25 to 27, delete the phrase starting with the word Congress and ending with the word acquired. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 9, delete lines 1 to 6. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is
On
approved.
the same page, lines 14 to 15, delete the phrase except for taxes and customs duties and capitalize A in the word any. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Renumber the sections accordingly. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I move to close the period of individual amendments on House Bill 5211.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
I move that we approve on second reading House Bill 5211.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. House Bill 5211 is approved on second reading.
Mr. President, may Senator Grace po continue with House Bill 5212.
Senator Grace po is recognized again to sponsor 5212, House Bill number 5212.
Rest assured, Mr. President, this is the last one from this batch. Can I just play a tape recorder? Mr. President, the following are the individual
Is there any
amendments.
objection?
No objection? Okay, fine. All right, you must hear my voice again, Mr. President. The following are the individual amendments for House Bill number 5212, Filipinas Broadcasting Association Incorporated, presently known as Word Broadcasting Corporation. On page 2, line 4, after the word satellite, insert a comma and the word terrestrial. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is
On
approved.
the same page, line 6, delete the word technological. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is
On
approved.
the same page, line 22, after the first NTC word and the period, delete the succeeding sentences up to line 29. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is
On
approved.
page 3, reword lines 2 to 6 to read as follows. Free of charge, adequate public service time, which is reasonable and sufficient to enable the government through the broadcasting stations or facilities of the grantee to reach the pertinent populations or portions thereof on important public issues and relay important public announcements and warnings as necessity, urgency, or law may require, provide at all times sound and balanced programming, promote public participation, and assist in the functions of public information and education, conform to the ethics of honest enterprise, promote audience sensibility and empowerment through but not limited to closed captioning, insert a semicolon, and so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, after line 11, insert a new paragraph to read as follows. Public service time referred herein shall be equivalent to 10% of the paid commercials or advertisements which will be allocated based on need to the executive, legislative, judiciary, constitutional commissions, and international humanitarian organizations duly recognized by statutes, provided that the NTC shall increase the public service time in case of emergency or calamity. The NTC shall issue rules and regulations for this purpose, the effectivity of which shall commence upon applicability with other similarly situated broadcast network franchise holders, as I so move.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none, the motion is approved.
On the same page before line 12, insert a new section to read as follows. Compliance with labor standards. The grantee, its successors or assignees shall comply with the applicable labor standards under existing labor laws, rules and regulations, and such other issuance as may be promulgated by the Department of Labor and Employment, taking into consideration the nature and peculiarities of the broadcast industry. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 4, after line 5, insert a new section to read as follows. Tax provisions. The grantee, successors, or assignees shall continue to be subject to all applicable taxes, duties, fees, or charges, and other impositions under Republic Act Number 8424, otherwise known as the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997, as amended Republic Act Number 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, as amended, and other applicable laws. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 5, delete lines 2 to 6. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 7, delete the phrase starting with the word franchise until the word that. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 6, delete lines 3 to 7. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is
On the
approved.
same page, line 8, delete the phrase except for taxes and customs duties and capitalize A in the word any. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Renumber all sections accordingly. I so move.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you to the sponsor of this four bills which we have passed on second reading.
Thank you, Mr.
Majority Leader.
President. I move to close the period of amendment on House Bill 5212.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Move to approve on second reading, House Bill 5212.
Is there any objection? There being none, House Bill 5212 is approved on second reading.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of House Bill 5176, 5211, 5175, and 5212.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, with the permission of the Chamber, I move to resume consideration of Senate Bill 1311 under Committee Report Number 33.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. For consideration is Senate Bill number.
Mr. President, this is the
1311.
measure on ease of doing business. Parliamentary status of the measure is that we have closed the period of amendments and requested that clean copies be distributed to the senators for their final comments or further amendments. Unless our colleagues have any comments on the distributed clean
Mr.
copies
President?
of the measure,
Sorry to our Majority Floor Leader, with all due respect. We have one more, actually two more individual amendments. If it's possible, we can reopen the period of individual amendments.
therefore I move to open the period of individual amendments, Mr.
Is
President.
there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
We recognize Senator Mig Subiri, the sponsor, and to amend Senator Joel Villanueva.
Senator Subiri is recognized to sponsor the measure, and for this purpose, at the moment, Senator Villanueva will propose some amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Floor Leader. Thank you, Mr. President. We'd like to commend the sponsor for this particular measure. Mr. President, distinguished sponsor, may I propose on page 4, line 35, under section 7, insert after the comma the phrase unless strictly necessary.
I accept, Mr. President.
Is
Thank
there
you,
any-
Mr.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 9, line 6, under section 11, add the following sentence after the word dissemination.
We accept, Mr. President.
And put, Mr. President, hard copies of the unified forms shall likewise be made available at all times in designated areas of the concerned office and/or agency. So move, Mr.
We
President.
accept, Mr. President.
On the same
Any
page,
objection? There being none, motion is approved.
on the same page, Mr. President, page 9, line number 19, delete the word and figure 1 and replace with the word and figure 2.
We accept, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 12, between lines 9 and 10, under section 13, insert a new paragraph to read as follows. The Department of Information and Communications Technology, in coordination with other concerned national agencies and local government units, shall also conduct information dissemination campaigns aimed towards raising public awareness on the existence of the Central Business Portal and the improved access to and effective utilization of the program. So move, Mr. President.
We accept, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Second to the last, Mr. President, on page 12, line 30, under section 14, delete the acronym PBD and replace with the words Philippine Business Data Bank.
We accept, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Last but not the least, Mr. President, on page 14, line 18, under section 16, replace the word I with us.
We accept, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Motion is approved.
That'll be all, Mr. President. Thank you, distinguished sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President, to our distinguished colleague and principal author of the ARTA law, also principal author of this measure. Thank you.
Mr. President, I move to close the period of individual
Mr.
amendments.
President, one last amendment, if I may,
I withdraw my
just to clean
motion.
up. May I be allowed, Mr. President? Just to clean up some typographical errors with the permission of the Senate Majority Leader. Which
I
one?
have no objection, Mr. President.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. On page 4, line 39, under section 7, delete the number 22 and replace with the number 23. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 5, line 35, under section 8, delete the word the after the word be. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 10, line 4, under section 12, insert the phrase or fire safety inspection certificate, close in parentheses, FSIC, after the word clearance. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 12, line 37, under section 14, delete the word registry. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 16, line 5, under section 19, delete the words and/or soliciting and replace with the words to solicit. I
Is
so
there,
move, Mr.
is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On page 17, line 8, under section 23, delete the word business registration and replace with business-related transactions. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 10, delete the word and figure 1 and replace with the word and figure 2. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
On the same page, line 11, replace the words business registration with the words business related. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
And just a manifestation, Mr. President, before we close, during the discussions yesterday between Senator Lacson and his representation, the good senator mentioned that the representatives from the Securities and Exchange Commission were consulted with regarding the amendment of the processing time of highly technical applications from 30 to 20 days. I'd like to just say on the record, or spread on the record, that lest that they be castigated by the SEC. They told me that they they have reservations in reducing the number of processing time for highly technical applications from 30 to 20. In other words, they didn't agree to the proposal. It was not it was not their proposal, rather, Mr. President. They just want it on record. Siguro pinagalitan, Mr. President. But that's it, Mr. President. Thank you very much. That ends my...
Move to close the period of individual amendments on Senate Bill 1311.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to approve on second reading Senate Bill 1311 under Committee Report 33.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being none, motion is approved. SB number 1311 is approved on second reading.
Mr. President, I move for the consideration of PS Resolution 459.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
May we ask Secretary to read the title of the measure?
The Secretary is directed to read the title. Ano yung 459?
Resolution congratulating and commending the 2017 Gawad sa pinakatanging kooperatiba, Gawad Pitak, Outstanding Agriculture and Non-Agriculture Based Cooperatives, honored by the Land Bank of the Philippines on 14 August 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, may we recognize Senator Mig Zubiri.
Senator Zubiri is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, it's an honor to sponsor these Senate resolutions congratulating and commending this year's Gawad Pinakatanging Kooperatiba or Gawad Pitak awardees. This, by the way, Mr. President, is the first time that the Senate is going to honor them in these hallowed halls. Gawad Pitak has been part of the development landscape of nation building of Land Bank of the Philippines for more than 2 decades. Land Bank of the Philippines, Mr. President, being my favorite bank, by the way. And besides being my favorite bank, I would like to put on record that Land Bank of the Philippines, Mr. President, has been the most compliant when it comes to the Agri-Agra law, including the MSME laws in terms of loans to small businesses and micro businesses. Mr. President, with the promise of bringing growth to the countryside at the core of its operational institution, Land Bank realized early on that achieving its mission of countryside development would require strong and reliable partnerships that can help open new opportunities for social and economic success. Gawad Pitak is the most prestigious and longest-running awards for cooperatives, which is guided by the highest standards of selection processes. The award is part of Land Bank's anniversary celebration, and Land Bank is celebrating, by the way, its 54th anniversary this year. Congratulations to Land Bank as well, and the top officers who are with us today in this chamber, headed by Sir Alex Buenaventura, the President and CEO, as well as Mr. Virgilio Robes, their board member. Mr. President, dear colleagues, I truly believe that through cooperativism, cooperatives are a true democratic and self-help organizations that play a key role, a key and vital role in the development of our countryside and the push for inclusive growth with our countrymen. The government, when absent, or rather when government is absent, cooperatives mimic government assistance to their members and communities, whether in the form of financial loans, employment, seed capital, or a whole other range of services. Since its inception in 1990, Gawad Pitak has conferred 112 cooperatives for agri-based category, 85 non-agriculture-based category, 30 Hall of Famers for both agriculture and non-agri-based, 24 Ginintuang Kooperatiba, and 3 Platinum awardees, the last one being the highest award for Gawad Pitak. there are about 24,000 registered cooperatives with the CDA, or the Cooperative Development Authority today. Thus, being conferred with the Gawad Pitak Award, Mr. President, even just as runner-up, is already an outstanding achievement for any cooperative. Today, we will honor and recognize not only the partners of Land Bank, but our government's partners in nation building. These are cooperatives which, despite least government support, have managed to provide better opportunities to their members and their communities, improve their members' economic status, and brought about inclusive growth in their grassroots level of their different communities. These, my friends, Mr. President, are the unsung heroes in the countryside. Dearest colleagues, these are the model and success stories of cooperatives. These kind of cooperatives deserve the tax exemptions given to them by our cooperative code, as their incomes, for their incomes, which would otherwise go to paying taxes, are plowed back to their members and communities' benefits. These cooperatives embark on a wide range of community development programs and projects, practice good environmental programs such as adopting ecological parks, climate change adaptation and mitigation programs, disaster risk and management programs in partnership with the LGUs, utilization of RE, or renewable energy, and energy conservation, among others. I'm sure the lady senator, Senator Lauren Legarda, will be very happy to take note that many of these winners actually utilize renewable energy to run their headquarters. In 2007, or rather 2017, marks the 27th year of the Gawad Pitak. Although this is also a client recognition program of Land Bank, nevertheless, the best and the brightest cooperatives in the country come out during this search. Mr. President, your committee and cooperatives have always been a part of this search, through the chairman of the committee, who sits as chairman of the Board of Judges, as well as chairman of the House Committee on Cooperatives Development, who is co-chair of the Board of Judges. Just to give our colleagues an idea of the selection process, the nominated cooperatives are evaluated via table and field validation conducted by a TWG composed of Land Bank personnel, representatives from the Senate, the House of Representatives, Department of Agrarian Reform, the Department of Agriculture, and the Cooperative Development Authority. At this point, let me briefly cite the remarkable programs and projects of this year's winners. The first prize winner for non-agriculture-based cooperative is ABRA Diocesan Teachers and Employees Multipurpose Cooperative. Its partnership with TESDA and the Villar Sipag Foundation, headed by our very own Mama Bear, Ma'am Cynthia Villar, gives scholarship to out-of-school youth and farmers' children with passion in agriculture. Is an innovative way of getting people back into farming. And we also would like to thank Senator Villar for spearheading her program to this cooperative. I laud Pinoy Lingap, Damayan Multipurpose Cooperatives initiatives in eliminating the abaca monopoly of private traders in Catanduanes by instituting mechanisms that allow them to haul and consolidate abaca directly from the farmers' doorsteps, Mr. President, while still being able to offer competitive prices. I'd like to take note as well, Mr. President, of the Watch Life Workers Multipurpose Cooperatives livelihood program for former drug dependents and single parents. The cooperative tied up with TESDA in a livelihood and aquaculture program which benefited 287 drug reformists. This proves that the government can partner with cooperatives in a holistic approach to solve the drug problem in the country. Watch Life also provided technical know-how in massage therapy, candle and soap making to single parents for alternative employment and additional sources of income. The Providers Multipurpose Cooperative, on the other hand, established a birthing facility with 3 midwives and gives free services to its members and non-members, giving birth through normal or natural delivery. Can you beat that? And speaking of renewable energy, I would like to compliment Golden Group Gabay Puhunan Brotherhood Multipurpose Cooperative for being the first solar-powered cooperative in Pampanga, which has a 30-kilowatt solar power system in its main building that allows its cooperative to have savings of as much as 40,000 pesos a month and additional earnings of 5,000 a month through its net metering option. Dapat nandito pala si Senator, si Ma'am Loren, nakikinig. First prize for its agri-based category is the Bontoc Multipurpose Cooperative. Its biogas facility is commendable as it employs the use of renewable energy, which results to energy self-sufficiency in its operations of its piggery. The Libacao Development Cooperative, meanwhile, takes pride in developing a man-made forest in partnership with the Libacao National Forestry Vocational High School and the second vocational high school of its kind. The Batangas Sugar Planters Cooperative Marketing Association, Inc., on its 64th year of operations and unfailing service to sugar farmers of Batangas and Cavite, shows its testament that cooperatives are long-lasting and sustaining. This is what we want for people to realize about cooperatives, Mr. President, that you are stable and secure entities. One of Bantug Agricultural Multipurpose Cooperative's main economic activities is the manufacture of organic fertilizer named BioN Fertilizer, which gives employment to more people, at the same time promotes healthier and environmentally friendly farming techniques. Kooperatiba Naton Multipurpose Cooperative tackled malnutrition and education with its own feeding program focused on nursing malnourished students, which they nurture to health over a period of time. The Hall of Famer awardee, Mr. President, for non-agriculture-based category is the Sacred Heart Savings Cooperative. Its more than 4 decades of service brought opportunity to its members and neighboring communities and provinces, and provides hundreds of employment opportunities to those in need, and continues to bring responsive assistance to its 45,000 members, Mr. President. By the way, this cooperative is also a Villar Sipag awardee, Mr. President, of Ma'am Cynthia Villar. Hall of Famer for agriculture-based category is the Buena Vista Development Cooperative, which fosters an atmosphere conducive to socio-economic opportunities and beneficial to its more than 2,000 members. Its services are agri-related and transport services on land and sea. Ang nagkakaisang magsasaka, Agricultural Primary Multipurpose Cooperative, Mr. President, has been an agent in revolutionizing the agricultural landscape of the country through the utilization of modern farming mechanization and its active involvement in government's rice production programs, benefiting more people and communities in the sector. And finally, Mr. President, I would like to take note of the Kamote King. I say that once again, the Kamote King, Cesario Tabago, who shares his success by conducting training among farmers and educating them of his kamote farming techniques. He also extends assistance to families of his farm workers, Mr. President. Maybe he'll put up the future kamote corner instead of potato corner. At bibili natin yan. Mas healthy, sabi ni Tita Cynthia Villar. These cooperatives, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, and Ulirang Magsasaka that we honor today are instrumental in changing the development landscape from different vantage points, Mr. President. We salute all of you for being agents of social progress and for upholding the core principles of cooperativism by helping Filipinos help themselves. That's what we want to do, Mr. President, helping Filipinos help themselves. I would like to acknowledge also the commitment that these cooperatives made in keeping the cooperative sector alive and the efforts they've initiated in bringing inclusive growth and economic development to our people. This year's roster of winners proves that this sector plays a vital role in being the government's partner in nation building. They are the living testament for us to provide a nurturing environment for these cooperatives to flourish. To all Gawad Pitak awardees this year, may you continue to excel in your respective endeavors. May you continue to inspire other cooperatives to do the best practices in your sector, and may you continue to be present where government remains wanting. Allow me to thank also, Mr. President, Land Bank's institutional and external partners in Gawad Pitak, the House Committee on Cooperative Development, chaired by Congressman Rico B. Heron, the SIDC, or his SIDC cooperative, by the way, Mr. President, is already a platinum awardee of Gawad Pitak. And the development, or rather, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Agrarian Reform, the Cooperative Development Authority for their valuable inputs in this year's search. We shall continue to look for the country's best and brightest cooperatives through the Gawad Pitak and other cooperative award-winning bodies. Let us share, Mr. President, their experience and use their best practices to induce inclusive growth in the countryside. Mr. President, in closing, it is only through cooperativism that we can defeat poverty in our country. Mabuhay po ang kooperatiba, mabuhay po ang cooperators, and congratulations sa lahat ng Gawad Pitak awardees. Thank you. Omnibus na po. Yes, yes, sir.
Senator Ontiveros wishes to be recognized, Mr. President.
Senator Ontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Nakakatuwa pong makiisa sa isang resolusyon na merong pong Mama Bear at saka Kamote King. And seriously, Mr. President, pinagmamalaki ko pong makiisa sa resolusyon ng aking chairman sa Senate Committee on Cooperatives sa resolusyon niyang nagbibigay ng karangalan sa ating mga Gawad Pitak awardees, mga pinakamahuhusay na mga kooperatibang nagsusulong ng kooperatibismo, ng kaunlaran sa kanayunan, at pati ng financial inclusion na slogan po o rallying cry ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas at isinasabuhay ng Land Bank of the Philippines. Sa kanila pong kahusayan bilang mga kooperatiba sa mga kanayunan sa Abra, Catanduanes, Pampanga, Bontoc, Batangas, Aklan, at iba pa. Ipagpapasalamat ko po, Mr. President, sa aking chairman on Senate Committee on Cooperatives kung ibilangan niya ako sa lahat ng mga kasama ditong nais makiisa sa resolusyong ito. Salamat po, Mr. President. Mabuhay po.
Mr. President, it will be an honor that our Vice Chairman of the committee, she's a Vice Chairperson, be made the principal author. And may I make a motion, Mr. President, that all members of the Senate be made principal author of this resolution, if it's all right with the majority floor leader.
Perhaps you mean co-authors, Mr.
Or
President.
rather, co-authors, Mr. President. Yes.
We have
Is
no
there any
objection, Mr. President.
objection from any member? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you. With that, Mr. President, I move to adopt PS Resolution 459, subject to style.
Is there any objection to the motion to adopt PS Resolution 459? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move for the consideration of PS Resolution 460.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
May we ask Secretary to read the title of the measure?
The Secretary is directed to read the title of the measure.
Resolution directing and commending Buena Vista Development Cooperative, agriculture-based, of Buena Vista, Guimaras, and Sacred Heart Savings Cooperative, non-agriculture-based, of Galimoyod, Ilocosur, for being conferred the 2017 Gawad sa Pinakatanging Kooperatiba, Gawad Pitak, Hall of Fame Award by the Land Bank of the Philippines. During the Gawad sa Pinakatanging Kooperatiba awarding ceremony on 14 August 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines.
Mr. President, an omnibus sponsorship speech has been delivered by Senator Vic Zubiri. Therefore, I move to adopt PS Resolution 460, subject to style.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to consider PS Resolution 461.
Is there any objection? There being none, Senate Resolution 461 is now in order.
May we ask Secretary to read the title of the measure?
The Secretary is directed to read the title of the measure.
Resolution congratulating and commending the nagkakaisang magsasaka agricultural primary multipurpose cooperative of Talavera, Nueva Ecija for being awarded the 2017 Ginintuang Gawad Pitak by the Land Bank of the Philippines. During the Gawad sa Pinakatanging Kooperatiba Gawad Pitak awarding ceremony on 14 August 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines.
Mr. President, likewise, this resolution was covered by an omnibus sponsored speech by Senator Zubiri when he sponsored Resolution 459, and therefore, I move to adopt PS Resolution 461, subject to style.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. Senate Resolution 461 is adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to consider PS Resolution 462.
Is there any objection? There being none, Senate Resolution 462 is now in order.
May we ask Secretary to read the title of the measure?
The Secretary is directed to read the title.
Resolution congratulating and commending Cesario L. Tabago of Moncada, Tarlac for being named the 2017 Ulirang Magsasaka ng Land Bank of the Philippines during the Gawad sa Pinakatanging Kooperatiba awarding ceremony on 14 August 2017 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines.
Mr. President, an omnibus sponsorship speech was delivered by Senator Zubiri on the measure, and therefore I move to adopt PS Resolution 462, subject to style.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. PS Resolution 462 is
462.
adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. We would like to congratulate all the awardees, and I move for a few minutes of suspension to allow them to join the presiding officer for a pictorial in the
Session is
rostrum.
suspended for a few minutes. Congratulations to all our awardees.
CSP.
Senator Mings.
Majority Leader. Session is resumed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to adjourn the session until 3 o'clock tomorrow, Wednesday, August 16, 2017.
Session is adjourned till 3 p.m., August 16, 2017.